So here's all the stuff that Jinx says I have to clean. So I'm gonna get after that in the slop sink that has the cleaner. So the process is to knock down as much of the heavy dirt as I can, and then I'll use a little 3M pad to clean off the shaft surfaces. Everything gets hot water rinsed and then set out to air dry before it goes into the bead blaster. We'll see how that goes. We're gonna take the advanced mechanism apart further, but we're gonna get it clean first to the point where we can disassemble it. And next time you see these parts, they should be all shiny and clean. So I've gotten these parts as clean as I can with the parts cleaner and a hot water rinse. You can see they're nice and shiny now where they are. All that stuff on there that looks like grease is actually lacquer. So that's gonna have to get scraped and bead blasted. There's the advanced unit that we're gonna have to take apart. Now I'm gonna clean out this housing, starting at the top and working my way down. I gotta get as much of the schmutz, that burned lacquer, melted lacquer off the generator housing as I can without damaging any of the wires. I wanna show you something that's really cool. You see, this is so clearly from the factory. No zip ties. They just tied the wires together with twine, with string. Welcome to 1965 construction, because that's how they did it back then. But I'm not gonna make you watch me clean this either. Bit of shop rag is crammed down into a gap so that I don't push schmutz down into the engine case, which, you know, probably not terrible, but I don't want to do it.
Last cabinet, bead blasting cabinet. So we can put our parts in. When we come in, we try not to get too much on your armpits.
Right.
And then we make sure our hose is kind of in place. And then the cabinet can go down, locked up. And this sort of has an extra little safety. You have to kind of step on this pedal too.
Gotcha.
And then there is a trigger in here on the gun.
And this is noisy, so
It's not too bad, but it is, yeah. And then
let's see if we can get a little bit of video.
yeah. And you can see the difference it makes.
Oh yeah, look at that. Takes that grime right off.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, I did prep it for you.
Yeah, I guess you lose that right.
So now all these parts have been bead blasted. Well,
Yeah.
not the points plate. And look at they're nice and shiny.
So one thing we want to do with
And all the lacquer's off. That's the important part.
is this. Because we can see that it's been manhandled, but we're looking like, we're not too worried, you know, someone's been chipping.
It's pretty chewed up.
But what we want to do is we want to make sure that this fits good. So we got to decide which way it goes, because that can go either way. As you sit on the bike on the left side, this would be pointing back.
Right.
And then so this way it would go like this, so we can kind of see.
I think that one goes on this side because then the little knobs match up. See, it's got the one that sticks out.
Yeah, and those should be going in there. They kind of go in, but if
Try
we
it on
look
the
at
other side.
right, we kind of definitely
There
like
you
that
go.
better.
You almost dropped it just like I did.
You see, they a little run, but still, that's doing what it needs to do as far as locating it. Has a little play in it, and so that one's got to point kind of forward.
And that's consistent with when I took them off. One pointed forward, one pointed
Yeah,
back.
you got it. So this is how it goes on. So that's either going to be to this side, it's to the front, and then on the back. And I don't know if you could swap it. It makes a difference, but that's.
Well, one of them was a little bent.
Yeah, and we can kind of straighten
The one
that.
that pointed back was a little bent.
And we can kind of clean that. We can give that a little tweak. We'll clean that with a brush, but we're liking that. Nothing to say, oh, like, see, those are a little beat up, but we don't mind that. See how much better. See that one? What we could do, and I don't think we will, that's fine. You could drive that through. You can see how these are built. They're just a bunch of, they're stacked.
Yeah.
But that still looks like in good shape. We can kind of tweak that.
And with all the lacquer off of them, they'll
Yep.
pass electricity a lot
better, right. So that is looking good, like in good nick. The other thing I guess we can kind of check, this has to kind of go back and that it fits all right, and it does.
Yeah, once we put good studs in there,
Yeah.
it'll fit perfect.
And the thing is, it seems like it's a little tight, but I'm not too worried about that, as long as it fits in, because if you had that in there now, and we'll see, like, there might be an edge on it.
Yeah.
we can, yeah, there might be an edge on it because it's got to fit in and also be able to rotate. It's not going to rotate too much, and I'm not too worried about it. Like, we can kind of tap it. It doesn't have to be free. Like, see how it's sitting proud like that?
Just a little bit.
We'll tap that down in. Right.
So it was snug to start.
And we'll see about cleaning this hole a little bit better, maybe, just to see if there's anything that's causing it to sit up.
Okay.
But that doesn't look bad. Can see, though, this thing's been manhandled.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be dished like that.
No, it shouldn't.
Right. It's flat. But, again, once we get it in, it's going to stay, and it'll be separate.
So we've run into a little bit of a problem. This is the stud that came out of that hole that holds the mounting plate for the magneto. And if you look real careful at the other stud, that is super jacked up. And so we've got to pull this stud out without damaging the threads in the hole. So we have a good engine cover, front cover, for reference, and these are the studs that hold the magneto in place, and they stick out about 15 millimeters and they have a little shoulder. The problem is BMW doesn't have a part number for that part, that stud, so we're having to go through some machinations to figure out how we can replace it and with what. So that's one of the reasons when you're doing something like this, you get stuck, the best thing to do is stop, don't put it back together, document where you are, what you've done, and call somebody who knows what they're doing, which is exactly what we've done. I got Brooke and Jinx and Luke, the apprentice. We're all working on this, trying to find a replacement. This is very much my luck with motorcycles. This is kind of how things work for me.
This is defining vintage.
But this is what you're in for when you work on a vintage bike.
So, see, this, you kind of have to blow it over till it catches.
Yeah, what is that thing?
It's an easy out. So it's lucky because you can see the way it works.
Is it moving that stud at all?
It is. It's actually probably a side too big, but the good thing is that we're not very tight in there.
Yeah.
So you can you got to kind of get this thing to bite, and then you can kind of see how easy that's moving.
Yeah. Now we just got to hope they didn't bugger up the threads.
Yeah, so the thing we will do is we'll chase it with a regular bolt just to make sure we're kind of good, and that's another way we can kind of confirm the
And
hole.
that's an M6 by 1 pitch?
Yep.
1.0, technically.
Yep, so.
Well, so there's a bit of good luck is that buggered stud came right out. And Jinx, if you hand it to me, I'll give the class a close-up. So you can see there where it's all jacked up. So you can see the shoulder we were looking for that is missing on the other stud. So this is way short too, compared to the depth of the hole. I'm not sure either one of these studs is correct.
Yeah, no, it's they look like they're pretty chewed up. So at that point, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Look, I've got them right here in one place. They are different lengths, vastly different lengths. So one or probably both of these studs are incorrect, which should not be a surprise given some of the other things I've found on this bike. Now we have to find these before we can even put the magneto back together.
Yeah, no, that's one of the challenges of vintage. And BMW vintage are usually very, very good because it's supported.
Yeah.
More often than not, you find it. But now, it's really, you get to a part number and if it's a specific part. But when it's hardware, it's, as you say, it can be just hardware.
Yeah.
So we can find metric hardware. We just got to figure out what the size is. And lots of times in the parts fiche, like this didn't give us any information. It'll say
Right.
NLA no longer available, but it'll give you the size of the hardware, and then you can go look it up. We kind of know what we're after here, and we'll get 2 studs. That should be fairly common. The really good news is our holes are good. They don't seem to be boogered, so it shouldn't really slow us down too much. Just get new hardware coming.